Good evening, everyone. You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this is your Red Pill News for Thursday, December 27th. Very, very good things happening today, folks. Oh my God. President Trump at it again. Let's take a look. We got some great tweets from him here today. Oh, unfortunately, there is right now a full-scale manhunt going on in California for an illegal immigrant accused of shooting and killing a police officer during a traffic stop. Time to get tough on border security. Build the wall. And in response to Barack Obama stated, "I strongly believe that we should take on once and for all the issue of illegal immigration." State of the Union. Barry, couldn't agree with you more, and neither can President Trump. He totally agrees. Now, we've also got another dig at CNN here. CNN and others within the fake news universe were going wild about my signing MAGA hats for our military in Iraq and Germany. If these brave young people ask me to sign their hat, I will sign. Can you imagine my saying no? We brought or gave no hats, as the fake news first reported. That's right, folks. These brave men and women in uniform brought their own MAGA hats for the president to sign. And it is ridiculous to imagine that the fake news media is trying to attempt to call them out for breaking some type of law for having them sign their hats. Okay? If people own hats, the president wants to sign them, he's willing to do it. Give me a break, guys. All right, now we've got another tweet over here. We're going to go over to my timeline. All right, and before we get into the next series of tweets, I just want to remind everyone from my story from yesterday about the call sign that Air Force One was flying under, RCH 358. When I saw this, it reminded me of something. And if you just take that H, move it to in front of the R, and the 8 and move it in front of the 3, then you have something entirely different. And let's take a look. This is incredible. All right. So look at this. Real Donald Trump is at it again. Rearrange the call sign from the Air Force One trip to see the troops, and you get the initials HRC and the U.S. code for court-martial charges, which is 835. We'll take a look at this tweet from Awakening Worldwide at I_like_skis. And he says, in case you guys didn't catch it, Trump's secret trip to Iraq, his call sign wasn't Air Force One, it was RCH 358. And I'm sure you guys will remember that from yesterday's report. Rearrange the letters to HRC, and you use the same pattern for the numbers, and you get 835, which is the U.S. code 835, says service of charges for a military court-martial. Does President Trump have a special message for Hillary Clinton? I think so, and I like it. Now, just so everyone understands what the 835 means, this is 10 U.S. code 835, Article 35, service of charges. The trial counsel to whom court-martial charges are referred for trial shall cause to be served upon the accused a copy of the charges upon which trial is to be had. In time of peace, no person may, against his objection, be brought to trial or be required to participate by himself or counsel in a session called by the military judge under Section 839A of this title, Article 39A, in a general court-martial case without a period of 5 days after the service of charges upon him, or in a special court-martial case within a period of 3 days after the service of charges upon him. So I was just thinking, spitballing here, but it's interesting that this is talking about the charges in a court-martial hearing. And then, of course, we have all of the funny business that happened during the George H.W. Bush funeral when everyone received, well, not everyone, but several key individuals received something special in an envelope. Could that have been charges? Is that why we have seen no posts or no activity from all those people on social media since shortly after the funeral? Very, very compelling idea. Now on to some news from the Daily Caller. Newsweek and others claim without evidence that Trump outed a covert SEAL team. Multiple outlets attacked President Trump on Wednesday night, asserting that he had revealed in a tweeted video the location and identities of members of a covert SEAL team in Iraq. ridiculous. Quick hit. Video posted to President Real Donald Trump Twitter account reveals covert U.S. Navy SEAL team deployment in Iraq. Ooh. Newsweek. They got the scoop. James Laporta's all over it. Wondering where SEAL Team 5 is. Pool report from Iraq. Trump also paused to take photos and selfies with many service members. That horrible man. At one point, Pkwy Lee told Trump that he was the chaplain for SEAL Team 5. Lee recalled Trump telling him, "Hey, in that case, let's take a picture." Current and former Defense Department officials said the information is almost always classified and is a violation of operational security. Contacted by Newsweek, Department of Defense. President Trump violated combat operational security by posting to Twitter the faces and location of a special operations unit, Navy SEALs on active combat duty. Oh my God, they just keep coming. Others suggested that the White House had placed the SEAL team at additional risk by failing to blur out the faces of the operators who were photographed and claimed that troops had violated rules against political gatherings by asking the president to sign MAGA hats. The offending video was posted by the president after his surprise visit with First Lady Melania Trump to Al-Assad Air Base on December 26th, a visit that escaped the detection of NBC long enough for the outlet to publish a story claiming that Trump would be the first president since 2002 who would fail to visit troops for Christmas. They just couldn't wait to get their grubby hands all over that one. Look at that man. Taking time out of his busy schedule, saving the world to visit our proud men and women in uniform overseas. Thank you so much, Donald Trump. But what media outlets and critics got wrong about the situation is striking. Many, including SEAL Team 6 member Robert O'Neill, took to Twitter to point out why that probably wasn't the case. If they are covert, Jim Laporta, do you really think they'd be at a photo op? Duh. Wesley Morgan says, this is overwrought. It's unusual to show these guys' faces, but they are part of the White SOF Advisory Task Force, CJS OTF-I believe, not JSOC operators, and their mission is not covert. These guys ought to know. A retired Navy SEAL told the Daily Caller on condition of anonymity that based on the video alone, it was clear that those pictured were not currently involved in a covert operation. For one thing, they were too clean cut. If they're truly downrange and involved in a covert op, they would look different. You try to look native. You don't go out clean shaven. When you're in the Middle East, you got a beard. You grow your hair out. If you're clean cut, you might as well put a kill me stamp on your head. He also argued that a sitting president would never even be brought into a forward area during a kinetic operation in progress, as that would unnecessarily endanger the operators, the president, and everyone else in the vicinity. The fact that the team was relaxed, clean-shaven, and taking photographs, he said, suggested that there was no such operation in progress for Trump to endanger. This is a hot, steaming bowl of nothing, he concluded. Task and Purpose reported a similar line of thinking, arguing that if the SEAL team were in fact involved in a covert operation, no one would know they were even there. Simply belonging to a SEAL team doesn't make your every move covert, especially if you're hanging out in the DFAC during the Commander-in-Chief's visit. All of this is to say, if SEAL Team 5 was deployed to Iraq on a covert mission, there's no way in hell anyone, including conventional U.S. forces, would likely know they were there. The SOCOM Public Affairs Office was unable to give an official comment on the situation, probably because it wasn't worth their time. They are too busy dealing with much, much bigger tasks. Now, one thing that really came to mind during this whole thing was, you guys remember a little operation to take out bin Laden and SEAL Team 6? Didn't Joe Biden go on national television and call them out as the ones who actually completed the mission? And they were certainly deep at that time. They were certainly on a covert mission because they had just killed bin Laden. And then, right after that, mysteriously, their helicopter gets taken out and all of them die. What do you guys think about that? Do you think that Donald Trump was wrong in visiting the troops and taking a photo op with them? Or do you think Joe Biden was culpable in the death of SEAL Team 6? And I didn't hear a peep about that from the news media. I remember thinking at the time, how strange. I wonder what those guys really did. Was that operation even real? Was bin Laden dead way beforehand and they just used the SEAL Team 6 name and then called them out so that they could be slaughtered and murdered afterwards? I don't know. I think that the news media owes something to President Trump here with this. And look at the beautiful First Lady, Melania Trump. These guys are so happy. The news media will do anything to steal the thunder from President Trump, and that includes belittling our men and women in uniform. Next, in a report from the Daily Caller, Giuliani says Robert Mueller should be investigated for destruction of evidence by deleting stroke page text messages. Mueller's special counsel team of 13 angry Democrats scrubbed Peter Strzok's phone and then turned it over to the Office of Inspector General Investigations after Peter Strzok was fired from the special counsel. Secret lovers Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. Peter Strzok was fired from the special counsel after text messages surfaced showing that he had a strong hatred for Donald Trump and his supporters. Peter Strzok was reassigned in the summer of 2017 to the FBI's Human Resource Department after his dismissal from the Mueller witch hunt in July 2017. Nothing against the Human Resource Department, but what a downgrade. That's like where they send people who they really don't want working in the field. Lisa Page's phone was scrubbed and not turned over to the OIG until September 2018. Here we have a post from the Donald on Reddit detailing what happened. Peter Strzok's team wiped all of the data off of Peter Strzok's iPhone after determining it contained no substantive text messages. Given what we know about Strzok, this smells like quite the cover-up. Time for Congress to step in? I would say so. Strzok's anti-Trump lover Lisa Page's phone was also scrubbed clean. Strzok's anti-Trump lover Lisa Page's phone was also scrubbed clean. I'm sure you're all super shocked to find out that Lisa Page's phone was also scrubbed. Big surprise. And of course, Page's phone went missing for a year before it was found and turned over to investigators in September 2018. Scrubbed clean. On Wednesday, Trump attorney Rudy Giuliani told reporters Buck Sexton and John Solomon that Robert Mueller should be investigated for the destruction of this evidence. Rudy is right. Mueller is one of the most corrupt players in Washington, D.C. today. John Solomon at The Hill reported, Rudy Giuliani has an unmistakable New Year's message for special counsel Robert Mueller. It is time for the chief investigator in the Russia case to be investigated in 2019. In wide-ranging interviews with Hill.tv's Buck Sexton and me on Wednesday and Thursday, President Trump's defense lawyer pointedly accused Mueller's office of destroying evidence by allowing text messages from now-fired FBI official Peter Strzok and his FBI lover Lisa Page to be erased in the Russia probe. Mueller should be investigated for destruction of evidence for allowing those text messages from Strzok to be erased. Messages that would show the state of mind and tactics of his lead anti-Trump FBI agent at the start of his probe, Giuliani said. The Justice Department Inspector General reported this month that it found large gaps in the preservation of official government text messages between Strzok and Page, the two top FBI agents who helped to start the Russia probe in 2016, who were having an affair at the time and who expressed disdain for Trump. The report said a technical glitch was to blame for the FBI's failure to save those text messages, but the IG was able to recover more than 19,000 from the early part of the Russia probe before Mueller was named special prosecutor. However, the IG said it was unable to recover messages from the time Strzok and Page worked for Mueller's office in spring and summer 2017 because the memories of both FBI officials' government phones were wiped clean by technicians. And like that, they're gone. That erasure occurred after Strzok and Page left Mueller's team over revelations they exchanged anti-Trump text messages, including one string in which they talked about stopping Trump from becoming president. That should be investigated, damn it. That should be investigated fully. You want a special counsel? Get one for that, Giuliani said. Bravo. For the record, corrupt Facebook and the AP banned a previous Gateway Pundit post for accusing Dirty Cop Mueller of intentionally deleting the Strzok Page text messages. Facebook has no proof this was by accident. Facebook is hiding information from Americans. Facebook is the devil. I don't have a Facebook. I don't recommend other people have a Facebook. Facebook is like you are creating your own file for the government to look at whenever they want. They can track you anywhere you go. They can see everything you're doing. I know it's a great way to get in touch with people you haven't seen in a long time, but, that's my opinion, and I'm going to stick to it. All right, now we have a follow-up from the exciting news on the Roy Moore campaign from Alabama. The Alabama Attorney General has opened a probe into the false flag operation targeting Roy Moore's campaign. Yes. Alabama Attorney General Steve Marshall said Thursday that he is opening an investigation into whether a disinformation campaign targeting Republican Roy Moore violated campaign laws and tilted a close election. I think that's a firm yes. Democratic operatives allegedly used Facebook and Twitter to undermine support for Moore and boost Democrat Doug Jones, who narrowly won the U.S. Senate race. Marshall is worried the ruse affected the outcome of the election, especially considering the rapidly changing nature of social media campaigns. The information is concerning, Marshall, a Republican, told the Washington Post. The impact it had on the election is something that's significant for us to explore, and we'll go from there. Marshall stopped short of suggesting his office began a formal investigation into Project Birmingham, but noted that he will start gathering evidence. Technology has put us in a difficult position in many respects in terms of the applicability of our current laws, he added. Reports about the caper began making the rounds after the New York Times reported on the matter on December 19th. News of the so-called false flag operation, which involved operatives from American Engagement Technologies creating fake Russian bots to follow Moore, took off from there. Billionaire Reid Hoffman added fuel to the fire when he apologized Wednesday for funding the effort, but he left crucial questions unanswered. His statement did not include a detailed accounting of everyone involved in the campaign, nor did it explain who crafted and executed the action. Hoffman plowed $750,000 into the organization, much of it going into the project, the report notes. Democratic operatives associated with the plan explained in an internal report leaked to the New York Times how the project sought to implant ideas into people's head. The cost of the project totaled $100,000, the identical amount Facebook says Russian Internet Research Agency spent trolling people on social media leading up to the 2016 presidential election. The scheme itself likely didn't shift the election. I disagree with that, but the Twitter bot angle gained significant amount of national attention. Local and national media falsely suggested Russia was backing Moore's candidacy. The Montgomery Advisor was the first to cover the story. National media outlets quickly followed suit. Roy Moore flooded with fake Russian Twitter followers, read the headline of a 2017 New York Post story, which cited the advertiser. WAPO, for its part, focused on the fact that Moore blamed Democrats for the fake accounts, because they did it. AET's founder, Mickey Dickerson, has not responded to the Daily Caller News Foundation's repeated requests for comments about the nature of his group's campaign. Dickerson worked on former President Barack Obama's 2012 re-election campaign. Hoffman, who has previously said he supports a probe, has also not responded to the DCNF's questions. Well, that sounds like good news to me for Roy Moore and what he was forced to endure by these fake news peddlers and fake Russian bot people. All right, and another great story from the Gateway Pundit. Breaking, DOJ colluding with Clinton email scandal witnesses to thwart court order discovery efforts by Judicial Watch. Shock and horror. Tom Fitton, president of Judicial Watch, revealed on Wednesday that the DOJ is colluding with Hillary Clinton email scandal witnesses to thwart court-ordered discovery to stop the watchdog's efforts to gather evidence. Judicial Watch appeared in a D.C. federal court last month on a motion to compel more testimony from Hillary Clinton, as well as to make public video recordings of depositions of top Clinton aides such as Huma Abedin and Cheryl Mills. The reenactments are killer, guys. You got to watch them. The court ruled that Hillary Clinton must answer more questions about the setting up of her private server. Hillary Clinton arrogantly answered that she was set up the private server out of convenience, not an excuse. Earlier this month, a federal court blasted the DOJ and State Department on Hillary Clinton's emails and ordered a discovery plan in 10 days as to whether Hillary's private email system was intentionally set up to evade FOIA requests and lawsuits. Judge Lamberth said Hillary Clinton's private server was one of the gravest modern offenses to government transparency. Specifically, Lamberth ruled, the court orders the parties to meet and confer to plan discovery into A, whether Hillary Clinton's use of a private email while Secretary of State was an intentional attempt to evade FOIA, yes. B, whether the State Department's attempts to settle this case in late 2014 and early 2015 amounted to bad faith, yes. And C, whether state has adequately searched for records responsive to Judicial Watch's requests. No. Terminating Clinton's use of her private email system, one of the gravest modern offenses to government transparency, Lamberth wrote in his memorandum opinion. Although Judicial Watch refuses to back down, the Justice Department is actively working to stop the watchdog's efforts to gather evidence in federal court. Tom Fitton was furious that the DOJ is working to block their discovery efforts. Outrageously, this Justice Department is colluding with Clinton email scandal to stop our efforts to gather evidence in federal court. President Trump should ask this Justice Department why it's still protecting Hillary Clinton, Tom Fitton said Wednesday. This is a breaking story, so keep your eyes peeled, guys. I'm sure there's going to be more information coming out. Well, that's all I have for you tonight. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. As you can tell, things are really heating up. It's happening hard and heavy. Stuff is about to break. We have a couple more days left in the 10 days of darkness, and hopefully we're going to see some major action come the beginning of the year. Once again, thank you so much for watching me. I am Red Pill 78. I am the corruption detector. This is Red Pill News, and everyone have a good evening. Good luck, and God bless.